Super Megafest!
Welcome to the 2017 Fall Super Megafest Comic-Con here in Marlborough, Massachusetts. Well, we're going to go inside, talk to special guests, see people dressed in costume, and experience a lot more. Let's go. I'm now with Edward James Olmos, and how are you enjoying Super Megafest?
Incredible. And I'll say that because truly the people make the event. And this event is spectacular because of the kind of people that come to it.
Fantastic. And it's all about the fans.
That's it. It's the name of the game here. It's about a tremendous love fest with the fans and the people who come up and say thank you to me. I say, excuse me, man, I say thank you to you. Thank you for supporting me, making it possible for me to live this life. It's been a very privileged life that I've led, and it's because of people like yourself who have given me that opportunity.
How was your experience on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Wonderful. I wish it would just been longer, and I wish they would have been able to not blow me up. They turned me to stone, and then they blew up the building I was in, so I was turned to dust and rubble. So I'm never coming back. You know, usually in that world, you usually can find a way of bringing back somebody that's even dead. You know, but they couldn't even find me as dust.
Oh, you can come back. It's a superhero show.
I'm telling you now, man, they cannot find a way of bringing me back. It just wouldn't make any sense.
Years ago, you were in 12 Angry Men TV movie.
Yes.
What was that experience like?
The movie that we did was very well acted and very well understood. Walter Hill directed it, and it was just wonderful.
How do you like being in the sci-fi world with Battlestar Galactica?
It's been one of the most rewarding experiences I've ever had. The best usage of television I've ever been a part of.
One of my friends says it's one of the best TV pilots ever, the first episode.
I would have to agree. It's really riveting. It's if you don't see anything else, just watch the pilot. It's 4 hours, so it's amazing.
What are you currently working on?
Right now I have Blade Runner that's out right now, Blade Runner 2049. I also have Coco that's coming out on Thanksgiving weekend. And I have Windows on the World, which come out next year. And then I also have Monday Nights at 7, which will be coming out this year at the end of the year.
I'm now with Tom Berenger, and how are you enjoying Super Megafest?
I'm having a good time, and I actually have a little break. My son and daughter-in-law and granddaughter came up to visit from Connecticut, so yeah, it's been extra special.
What I like about the Major League movies is I'm not really a baseball fan, but I love the movies because of the humor and the characters.
Yeah.
It must be great to hear that from fans.
Yeah, actually, there was an English guy told me, he said, I knew nothing about baseball, but I watched that, and he said, I actually watched it again because I liked it. I knew nothing about it, but I actually learned about the game, like some of the rules and the slang and and all that, the buzzwords, etc. And I said, well, good. He said, I really enjoyed it, and I'm English, and we don't know that game.
Now you and Corbin Bernsen are here today. How is it to see Corbin?
Oh, it's always great to see Corbin. In fact, I met him on Major League. When I did Shattered, talking to Wolfgang Petersen, the German director, I said, I'd like to recommend Corbin Bernsen for the guy who plays my business partner. I said, he's really funny. he had a lot of. We could use that as kind of a dark mystery, so it might be kind of fun to have him in there, uplift us all. So they said, okay, he says, I don't know him, but yes, I'll meet with him. So I happened to get over to the studio that afternoon because I was just real curious how that went. And I walk into Wolfgang's office. Wolfgang's assistant was sitting outside. They're still in there? It's like, it's over an hour. She goes, I know, listen to him. And they're just laughing hysterically. I said, he's got the part. She goes, I think so, yeah. Of course, he has to, yeah. So he came in, we had a blast with his super energy. Corbin's like, Jack Lemmon bouncing off the walls. And we had a lot of laughs, and then he left. He finished his part and kind of left earlier, than I did, because I was in every scene and just do scenes alone, and, anyway. And Wolfgang says, I miss Corbin. I go, I know. It was so much fun. It was just great. I know, and now you just got me alone, but it was fun.
I have to ask you about being in Training Day, and what was that experience like?
It was nice to see Denzel Washington again, because I had worked with him in a boxing movie. It was like my fourth job and his third film job. And so it was fun to see him again. And we had a lot of fun doing that scene in the restaurant where we're all like laughing and whatnot. Those guys were very funny. Those other cops, they were funny.
What upcoming projects do you have?
Did a motorcycle movie called American Dresser, and with Keith David, who was in Platoon. We last worked together in Platoon 30 years ago. I quite like that. We play a couple of really burnout vets from a Vietnam vet. I did a comedy in Ireland called Supervise about superheroes in a nursing home in Ireland.
You got my attention on that one.
I know. Need I say more?
Great.
Yeah, and that title won't change either. Supervised, about superheroes, and yeah.
Who else is in that movie?
Lou Gossett Jr. and Beau Bridges, yeah. And then a bunch of great Irish actors, yeah, really good.
I'm now here with Iron Man, and how are you enjoying Super Mega Fest?
It's awesome. I always love Super Mega Fest Con. This is our 5th year.
5th year, and how long have you been Iron Man?
This is my first appearance with this Iron Man cosplay costume.
What inspired you to dress as Iron Man?
I'm a cosplayer. Iron Man is my favorite character, and I wanted to make the perfect suit, so it took a while to make this suit. All fully battery operated, so my helmet goes down. Repulse. And you also have back jets.
I'm speechless. That was absolutely amazing.
And then last but not least, you have rockets in the arms.
So how do you operate this?
The operation is done by 2 buttons in each thumb, and it operates the repulses, or it operates the mask in the back. And then for the rockets, you can see underneath the flap in my hand, there's one on each side, the rockets pop out.
Wow, and what fabric is this?
This is made out of, it's 3D printed out of PVC.
I'm now honored to talk to Corbin Bernsen and Amanda Pays. How are you guys enjoying Super Mega Fest? Corbin, you're back again.
I am back again, man. I'm having a
When were you here
blast.
last?
A couple of years ago.
Oh wow, it's my first time here,
Yeah.
so I'm really enjoying it.
Now, Corbin, you have Psych the movie coming out soon. Give us a little hint.
Well, it's 2 hours instead of 1. Takes place in San Francisco, not in Santa Barbara. And you got the whole group back having some fun and doing Psych kind of stuff.
And Amanda, which I'm really happy about, you were recently in the new Flash TV show.
Yes.
What was that experience like? And also interacting with John Wesley Shipp as Henry Allen.
It was a blast. It was so much fun, and as always, whenever I get together with John, it's just like old times. So really had fun working with him and the new cast, and I'm hoping that we might end up getting back together in another, Earth 3 next year, maybe next season.
We want Corbin on the Flash. I want Corbin on the Flash.
I want Corbin on the Flash.
Ain't gonna happen.
Why?
Because I'm not a comic kind of guy.
But Amanda was on
I
Psych
was
though.
on Psych, Yes, I did
You're on
play your
Psych.
girlfriend on Psych.
I'll be on Max Headroom.
Oh, by the way, Corbin's just cast me in his next movie that he's directing and has written that I'll be in. We're shooting in January, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And let's talk about your book.
We've just released a book called Open House: Reinventing Space for Simple Living. What is it about, Corbin?
It's about our lives through the homes that we've lived in over our 30 years of marriage.
Some of the homes. We've done a lot.
Some
but
of the
there's a few
homes.
are covered in here.
Yeah.
It's our journey.
What's a happy marriage? You've been married for what?
Nearly 30 years, nearly 30 years.
What's the secret?
Secret is commitment, and we all have ups and downs. We go through times where it's difficult, it's not always easy, but the commitment, if you stay committed, it's a real kind of it honors the relationship in a way, right, Corb?
Yes, it's all about commitment.
I'm now with
Jerry Savory.
and
Cody Savory.
Cody Savory.
it's hard to hear with the mask on. And tell me who you're dressed as.
Okay, we are dressed as Shazam and the Flash from the Dark Side War series that DC recently put out. This being the Flash, God of Death. He took the powers of the Black Racer when Darkseid died, and same with Shazam. His whole pantheon of God abandoned him, and he got a whole new pantheon.
Great costumes. What inspired you to pick these two?
Every year we decide to do either Marvel or DC. This year it happens to be the DC, and we try to do the most obscure costumes out there. And this happened to be, it was a 6-part miniseries, and they had one-shots, but it was all very obscure. My son's like, I like the Flash. I've always liked the Flash. I want to do this one. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to join in, and I'm going to do the Shazam. I've always wanted to do this costume.
So I'm now sitting with Mark Goddard from Lost in Space, and how are you enjoying Super Mega Fest?
I think it's terrific. Wonderful producers, great cast of people here, celebrities. I like to come here to meet the fans that come out. I've always appreciated that. Fans come out and say hi, and I like that,
Have you seen the cast of Lost in Space recently?
No, I know they're out in L.A. today. Marta, Billy, and Angela are in L.A. doing a show out there.
It must be great to see Bill and Angela grow up, become great adults in their own life.
Oh, yeah. They were 11 years old when they did the show. 50 years have gone by. They blossomed beautifully, the both of them. They're wonderful, wonderful people. And they married wonderful people, and they have wonderful children. They did everything right, unlike me.
No, you did a lot of things right. What do you love most about meeting your fans?
The generosity of their caring and love for the show. They have their memories of Danger, Danger, Will Robinson, and the pain, and all those things.
And you have the Chariot here
Yeah.
at Super Mega Fest. Have you seen it?
It's great down there, yeah. And we have Chariot, and we have the robot, first-year robot. Yeah, black and white, love it.
You worked with some of the people here, right? You worked with Lee Majors?
Well, yeah, I did a Fall Guy, and he was in it, and Lindsay Wagner was also in it. It was a fun part. I was dressed like John Travolta. I had a white suit on, with this coming out like this, with the flaps coming out. And I don't know, I was supposed to be some kind of Mexican bandito, modern day, I guess. I don't know.
I'm now with John, and what did you bring to Super Mega Fest?
We brought the Lost in Space Chariot from the original TV show 1965.
How was it made?
We actually fabricated it here locally in Massachusetts. 2015 was the anniversary of the TV show. The original Chariot is long lost. A bunch of us, inspired sci-fi fans, Lost in Space fans, said, hey, let's give that a whirl. I think we can fabricate that in our facility, and we did. Took 7 months. We started in January 2015 and had it ready for anniversary in September 2015. Had it in New York with the original cast. It was great.
So we climb up the stairs here. Yeah, watch my head. That's important. I gotta watch my head. Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I know I'm saying wow a lot, but this is amazing. I can get up to these front... Can I stand here? Jeez. This takes a lot of hard work and dedication to make this. This probably is like the only one made in the world.
That's correct, yeah. This version of the Chariot, the original Chariot, was repurposed after the end of the show. Went back to Ski Mountain, somebody saw it there, has it in storage and is trying to restore it, but we haven't seen it for 40 years, so we decided to recreate it for the fans.
So where do you keep this when you're not bringing this to cons?
We have a manufacturing facility in Lynn, Massachusetts, where we build elevators and have done so for the last 30 years. So when I showed this project to my guys, they were all on board. It was an exciting thing to build weekends and nights, and again, we cranked it out. So it's in Lynn, Massachusetts at Elevator Interior Design. It's in our warehouse, and we bring it around to shows in the New England area, hopefully getting it around the country for all the fans to see pretty soon.
That's amazing. And then they have all these little knobs.
Blinky lights, those are Burroughs computer components, which were obsolete in the 60s. Those registers and consoles, you'll see them in the back, in the Batcave and Batman. You'll see them in Austin Powers and all those great sci-fi movies.
I didn't realize I'm not in the captain's chair, am I?
Yeah, no, this
What am I not? I mean, I get in the seat and I was like, oh, I'll just be the passenger. No, I want to be the driver. In Lost in Space, who was the main driver of the Chariot?
Guy Williams, who played John Robinson, the father. Mark Goddard, who's actually here today, was the pilot. And they took turns, and other characters in the cast drove it as well, but mainly they did, yeah.
Wow. And has Mark been in this today?
Mark has been in this multiple times. Mark lives in Massachusetts. Amazing guy, very accommodating, comes in here all the time for fans. As a matter of fact, we had this in New Jersey with the 4 cast members. They were all in here. It was like a big treehouse for them. Taking pictures with fans, they were quite gracious.
Yeah, see how big this is? This is amazing. I'm now with Victor, and what did you bring to Super Mega Fest?
David, I brought the actual B9, the first season B9 robot, and we usually travel with the Chariot, and this is the first season. He's black and white season, so we love the black and white. We love Lost in Space, but we love the black and white show.
How is this different than the color version?
Well, the color version actually has the color claws, got the red claws, and the buttons are colorized. This is colorized. The antennas are colorized. This is colorized, you know? So it's basically different, you know, and they had to make it a little more campy looking, David, you know, to make it look like, with all the color that was on the show, that's the reason why, you know?
Okay, yeah, for campy reasons. Now, one thing this does is not only does it light up, but it actually is talking.
Yeah, actually, I could turn the volume up.
Yeah, let's bring it up.
Sure, we turn the volume up.
Please do not touch the robot.
Please do not touch the robot. As soon as I touch it, please do not touch the robot.
Very unhappy. Is there anything I can do to boldly go where no robot has gone before? Come on, use your head, man.
Listen to this guy. He got about 85 lines on it. About 85 lines. It repeats on and on and on. Sometimes, David, you could do it with a laptop, but then you got to mess with a laptop, so you got to be sitting down. You got a lot of people coming around, you know.
So how do you have it set up?
It's basically got a voice module, and it has about 85 I think MP3 files, but I'm not 100% sure.
And so it just plays on the MP3?
Right, it just keeps playing and playing and playing, and that's it.
I'm now with Lindsay Wagner, and how are you enjoying Super Mega Fest?
It's been really fun today. Met a lot of really nice people. Some great babies came. I love that when the babies come.
It must be great for Bionic women when new fans come up that are kids that have watched the show on DVD.
It always surprises me. That tickles me, really. It's a whole new generation of Bionic fans.
And how was your experience on Warehouse 13?
Loved it. Yes, they were all so funny. Of course, working with Eddie, he's just so freaking funny, and the guy's got more energy than almost Mother Nature. So it's never dull.
And what are you currently working on?
Developing some things now, but I do have film coming out in February. I play Samson's mother in Samson and Delilah movie. It's a feature by Pure Flix, and that will be out in February, so catch it.
I'm now with the God of Thunder, Thor. How are you enjoying Super Mega Fest?
It's a wonderful time. Of course, it's twice a year, every year. It's never a bad time. It's a great place to have fun, to party, and to show off some great costumes. I mean, granted, mine is real armor for battles, but some great costumes around here.
Fantastic. Are you a little disappointed they don't hold it on your day on Thursday?
Well, Thor's Day is a wonderful time, but it's kind of hard to get down here on Thor's Day. You know, big celebrations in Asgard. You can't get away from that when you are the man that they celebrate. So it's totally fine being on the weekend.
Now, of course, Chris Hemsworth is back in Thor Ragnarok. How do you like Chris playing yourself, and are you excited to watch that film?
I think he's doing a wonderful job impersonating me. I'm really looking forward to the movie. I'm coming all the way from Asgard for it, and I'm hoping that it retells the tales of my battles very well.
Excellent. And now let's just show your lovely. Well, give me the. I always pronounce it wrong. Tell me the name of your hammer.
It's Mjolnir.
And I'm not going to hold it because I'm not worthy, and I don't want to. I don't want to fall on the ground and make a big explosion.
No, don't want that. But no, it is mighty heavy. It is the weight of 10,000 dying stars.
I'm now with Paul Michael Glaser, and how are you enjoying Super Megafest?
Oh, I'm having a good time. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. One thing that I thought was very interesting in your career is that you directed Running Man all those years ago. How was it directing Richard Dawson?
He was lovely. He was the best thing in the movie. I liked Richard a lot. Yeah, he was very good.
It must be a thrill that movie, everybody still loves it to this day.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, it was a peek into the future at the time. There were a few projects hanging around Hollywood that dealt with the notion of, where television could get to. And that one got made.
You played Harry Houdini. What research did you have to do to play Harry?
I just read up on him a lot, and I did a bunch of the tricks. The reverse water closet, and the milk can, and jumping off a pier with handcuffs. Those were all fun to do.
Around 10 years ago, they had the Starsky and Hutch movie with Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson. Was it fun to be part of that movie?
Yeah, well, it's a compliment, If you do something that's successful enough for them to make a movie about it, becomes that iconic, then, that's a compliment. And when they did it, they asked us if we wanted to show up in the movie, and we said, sure, why not?
But it must feel great that all the fans still come up and remember the show fondly and maybe have children that are now new fans.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, it is. It's a lovely thing that when you do something that people can relate to and enjoy and pass on that enjoyment to their kids, yeah, it's a very nice thing.
And what are you currently working on? Anything that you would like to promote?
I am currently about to have a show, an art opening of digital art painting that I do. This right up here above me is my striped tomato, because I used to always call the Torino the striped tomato on Starsky and Hutch. And then I have my book. It's a wonderful Christmas story. It's a wonderful book. I wrote it to the child in all of us. And so it's available on Amazon as both a book and an audio. I recorded it myself. This story is about a 14-year-old girl told in her own voice, and her 9-year-old brother. It's the last Christmas with the mom who's not well, last Christmas in the house because the bank is kicking them out, and the girl is angry and bitter and has no faith in anything except what she can see and touch. And on Christmas Eve, she and her brother find themselves on a journey through an underground medieval kingdom where everything and everybody are made of minerals and crystals in search of the source of light.
I'm now with Joe, and what did you bring to Super Megafest?
I brought my 1976 Gran Torino Starsky and Hutch car, number 1 of 3. This is the bench seat car. This car was filmed in 86 out of 96 episodes of the show. The difference between this car and car 1 and 2 is this car has the bench seats, car number 2 has the bucket seats. This car has a 460 cubic inch bit block in it. And here we have all the stuff. We have the sweatshirt that Starsky wore, we have the shoes, the toy guns. Now let me open the door for you guys so you guys can take a quick peek inside. As I have inside, I also have signatures from Paul Michael Glaser, who is Starsky, and I have signatures from David Ciccariella, who is Hutch. And I have the original Motorola Intercom radio they used right there.
So is this an original car from the show?
Yes, this is an original car. This was car number 1. One of the 3 they used.
But you also have some cool stuff over here.
It's a good friend, Steve Bordy, who owns car number 2. He managed to bring a lot of memorabilia, hats, lunch boxes, posters, great stuff that the fans can view and purchase.
I'm now with Paul Soles, the original voice of Spider-Man from the 1960s cartoon. How are you enjoying Super Megafest?
Surprised to still be alive, and that there has been such a celebration of this whole lore. Because when we started it, nobody expected the show or the characters to have the legs that they've had. So it's kind of a wave of amazement on my part, too.
How old are you?
I'm 87.
Well, for 87, you look fantastic.
Thank you.
Now, how much did you know of Spider-Man before you got the role?
Next to nothing. More to the point, I thought, wait a minute, I can't be a superhero. Of all the people in the world to be a superhero, I'm not the one. Because nobody thought this character would take off and have the legs that it's had. But years later, oddly enough, I heard a broadcast with Stan Lee. But he said the whole point of this character was to try and imagine being a superhero, big muscles, super abilities. What would an ordinary person do or think or feel to kind of act that out? Well, it's mostly mental. So if you can imagine doing good, helping your aunt and uncle, honoring memory of your parents, paying tribute to honorable creeds, and the strength or the heroic nature you'll have no trouble with. So I didn't think of that at the time. I just thought, well, I'll try and sound like I'm doing all those things. And it turns out I was pretty close.
Did you ever meet Stan Lee?
Yes, twice. And I played Stan Lee in the second feature film of The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton. Much of it was shot in Toronto, which is where I live. We shot a scene nearby Toronto in a restaurant called Stanley's, Stanley. Stanley's Pizzeria. It was named after Stanley, of course. So I played Stanley.
Did you have a favorite Spider-Man villain?
Can't say I do. I was still at the time, this was all done over a couple of years only, back in the 60s. Villains were, in a sense, I'm going to use a word, don't misunderstand me, preposterous. They were, for me, sort of unhappy creatures who'd gone bad. For whatever reason, I never spent much time figuring out why Doc Ock was the way he was. But just that there they were, and they had to be dealt with, as we all find throughout life. There's some bumps in the road, and you just have to deal with them.
The theme song from the 60s show is iconic.
My son, Jonathan, knows a lot about that. He was going to try and re-record all of those soundtrack score for Spider-Man, which Ray Ellis originally wrote. Not with us anymore, sadly, but it is engaging music, vivid, iconic.
I'm now with the Dark Knight, Batman. How are you enjoying Super Megafest?
I love Super Megafest. It's a beautiful show with great people, and they usually have pretty good guests here, John Wesley Shipp's a favorite.
The Flash.
The Flash, exactly. He's very quick on his feet, too.
You look a little different from when I last saw you. What's new?
Yeah, this is my light attire, you know what I'm saying? When I'm ready out, going crime fighting, in the middle of the night. On one of those hot summer nights, I wear one of these,
Yeah, because it's a nice warm day today.
Exactly. It's a beautiful fall day, mid-70s. The sun is shining, and I hate it.
I'm now with J.D. Hertzler, and how are you enjoying Super Megafest?
I had no idea it was this big. When I walked in, it felt more like Comic-Con. I said, wow, this is big. I understand there's been a lot of competition, a lot of other festivals showing up in the Boston area now, the last couple of years. It looks like it's hanging on well to me, and it always surprises me about all the artists that are so freaking good.
In Injustice Gods Among Us, you voiced Ares and Deathstroke. How was that experience?
I love doing voiceover. Everybody loves doing voiceovers because you don't have to spend 6 weeks rehearsing. You don't have to memorize anything. You just have to familiarize. So that's why all the big stars want to do it, because it pays well.
It must be great playing characters like Deathstroke and Ares that had so much of a cult following that, like you said, you walk around Comic-Con and you see all these different artist drawings of those characters?
Absolutely. I love the games. I love doing Injustice Gods Among Us. Steel or Lead, Deathstroke, John Slade. Love that guy, Slade. But I also love BioShock, where I played a completely insane splicer named Dr. Grossman. I think his first name was like Blood, Dr. Blood Grossman. He was on there. I had to go in there for about 2 hours and just shout. And his lines, most of his lines are somewhere along this line. Don't question me! I am a doctor! And I'm holding back right now because it was loud. And Dead Space was motion capture. I put those little nodules all over my body. There were 4 green screens all around me. No furniture, no spaceship walls, nothing. It was all CGI'd in, but they captured our movements by those little nodules placed all over us and wearing shiny tights, which I particularly liked.
In Star Trek Deep Space Nine, how long did that makeup take to put on you?
4 hours. It took 4, whenever I worked, it was 4 hours. I had to come in, I had to get up about 2 o'clock, drive into Hollywood. I'd get there hopefully about 3:30 or 4. The only people on the entire lot of Paramount would be the guard at the gate and me driving in, and my makeup man who was sitting there waiting for me. This is great. This lady, Sharon Gates, showed me a Martok doll that she made, and I said, oh my goodness, can you make 10 more of them for me? And then I said, can you make 10 more? Anyway, it takes her a long time to make them, but God bless her. But this, because I am running for Congress, she came in today and brought this over to me. Can you see that? Martok for Congress. I said, I love this. Thank you so much.
I'm now with the Dark Knight himself, Batman. How are you enjoying Super Megafest?
It's making me feel quite bat-tastic.
Bat-tastic, that's nice. I see a lot of villains running around here. Are you here to put a stop to that?
Well, evidently it's a weekend day for the tenants of Arkham Asylum, so we'll give them a free pass for the weekend, but we'll swing them back right after the convention's over.
Let's take a look at this armor here.
Let's take a look at it. Come on.
Tell me why you, what version of Batman are you, and what armor is this?
I'm my version. This is my tactical bat suit for defeating any sort of opponents that happen to be of the Kryptonian race.
And can you see out of your mask okay?
Sure. Can you see me? I can see you, and I can see everyone watching, including you.
I'm now sitting with a pro wrestling legend, the one, the only, Mick Foley. How are you enjoying Super Megafest? Back again.
Yeah, it's good. It's not, the Foley line isn't as long as it was a year and a half ago. I think it was 2016 we talked. Batman wouldn't leave Lee Merriweather, Catwoman alone. Yeah, I was a little protective of her, right? It was at the interview. I saw that. It was a good one. I thought I was going to have to go in and assert myself. Still bothered me, and I spoke to Lee about that. Message to all you would-be Batmans out there. If Lee Merriweather's around, don't get too close because, she's my girl.
What does it mean to you to meet all these fans who admired you for years?
It's a lot of fun. On occasions where the line isn't long, you have more of a chance to interact, and so you meet people, they got great stories. I met a husband and wife who met at a pay-per-view viewing party on the night of the infamous Cell match 19 years ago. So they've got their daughter with them, and to think that she wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for that match, that show. It's pretty flattering.
Recently, you were the general manager of Raw. What was one of the best experiences during that tenure?
Being fired was wonderful. Actually, the week before I was fired, we had this great memorable interaction with Stephanie McMahon and her husband, Triple H. I got quite a rush out of that. It was really good. And I was fired the next week. Being fired on WWE is like being killed in a soap opera. You know it's coming. You just try to make it as memorable as possible. And so I was proud to say that I was memorably fired as general manager of Raw.
And you've been fired a lot in WWE.
Only twice. Mr. McMahon fired me on his private plane where I was flown down to the public airport, picked up by limousine, brought over to the private airport just to be fired on the plane, and then I flew home. So that was pretty good. But I'd say I'd take this firing by Stephanie over the Mr. McMahon firing. But yeah, 2 McMahons have fired me. So take that, Vince. Your daughter is better at firing than you are, pal.
One thing I enjoyed that you were on is the Edge and Christian show. That was so fun, you and Edge singing. It must be so fun to do something like that after you had that hardcore match years ago with him.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think that was one of people's favorite skits there. You know, we shouldn't play with fire, the Billy... It was a lot of fun, and then I think the line was, I can't remember the rhyme for scrotum, but I burned my scrotum, and my son was 13 at the time. Did you really burn your scrotum? No, I did not, son. I'm okay.
I'm now here with James, and you're the 12th Doctor in Davros.
Correct. This is Davros's chair from the episode where the 12th Doctor removes Davros from the chair, leaves him in the infirmary, and then takes the chair into the main control room where the Daleks are and taunts the Daleks with it. So that's what all this is.
Wow, and let's just see this chair.
Sure.
And you can move around it and everything.
Oh yes, self-propelled.
Can you show us a little bit about that?
Sure. Certainly. This is basically your 4-wheel power chair. I put the actual joystick right here, so I've got, whoops, let's turn it back on again. There we go. Left, right, forward, back. It's just a chair, and then everything else are just controls that I've added to it. Most of this is as close as I could make it to what the actual chair looks like.
Is it a comfortable chair to sit in?
The sitting part, yes. Where my feet are, no, because they're not flat. They're kind of bent up like this, and after a while, it takes its toll on the soles of the feet and my ankles. But I'm good for about an hour and a half at a time.
That's still a good amount of time.
Yeah.
And what do you have next to you?
Oh, that's my son, the Dalek.
How many times do you say that your son's a Dalek?
I think he says it more than I do, but I have said it a number of times, and people either they get it immediately or they kind of say, "Your son's a what?" And then I have to explain, and it's hard to explain. But if you show them a picture, then they say, "Oh, right, I've seen those on TV. I know what those things are."
He can move as well.
Yes, he originally was, as we say, Flintstone powered, just pushing around with his feet. But as of about 2 weeks ago, we managed to acquire a used 3-wheel scooter, so now he is self-propelled.
Let's see him in action. Can you tell him to spin around?
Spin around a little bit.
Wow, there he goes. Oh man, wow, he's going really fast.
Yeah, it's surprising how fast that thing is. The night we accomplished the installation, he took it out on our street, and realized he was doing about 8 miles an hour down the street. We didn't think it would go that fast. It's a bit of a surprise.
So who can win in a race? You or Dalek?
I think he probably could. He doesn't weigh as much as this does, so I think he could probably take me in a head-to-head drag race. All right, well, this, in theory, this is what Davros used to contact the Daleks, although you never actually see him use it. Most of these controls aren't really shown to do much of anything, although he does use this one to activate a force field every once in a while. And in the episode that I'm cosplaying, the 12th Doctor uses this one to activate a public address system and makes an announcement, which the Daleks aren't very happy about, but that's what he does. This light is supposed to indicate his life support systems, and although he never pushes this, I did hook something up to this. I use this as a spectator mover. It usually gets their attention, and people say, all right, I'll move.
Here they go. Wow, that's amazing. I'm now here with it.
Pennywise.
And what happened to you?
He ate my arm.
Oh, he ate your arm. Oh, wow. Jeez. Why don't you like children?
Oh, I love children. They taste great.
I'm now with Paul Blake, Greedo from Star Wars, and how are you enjoying Super Mega Fest?
Oh, awful, dreadful. I'm hating every moment of it. I can't understand why I possibly came to... No, of course, it's wonderful. Everyone's very kind, and it's a pretty cool convention, I have to say. It's really nice to be here.
So you're the legendary Greedo.
Deceased.
That's right.
Dead. Every time I get shot. How could they do it?
But who shot first?
Ah, well, there you go. There you go. Good question, good question. Everyone seems to want to know this. I'm old school. I go with the hand shot first theory, because if I'd shot first, and we were this close here, I would have run off with Princess Leia. I would have defeated Vader. I would be living on the penthouse of the Death Star now, so I think he shot first.
Now there's a picture of you with Harrison Ford without the makeup.
Yeah.
Did you film it originally without the makeup on, or was it always...
No, that was taken by Gary Kurtz, who was one of the producers on the first 3 movies. And Gary was a keen photographer, so he was snapping away when we were doing setups or rehearsal shots. And that was a picture of just when I'd taken the mask off, because my mask finished about there. It wasn't like today, where you'd be in full body makeup and in wardrobe for hours. No, so I could take my mask off. So that's why you see me without the mask in that picture.
Did you read the lines, or did you deliver lines on set? Because then Greedo didn't speak English.
Oh, no, I speak fluent Rhodian. Totally fluent Rhodian. It's like French, but only green. It's a little more greener than French. No, of course, it's in English, the dialogue, yeah. So it was all in English.
Fantastic. I love your glasses. Your glasses a little touch to Greedo, right?
Yeah, they are an homage to Greedo, but yes, the green. Thank you very much.
And when are we going to see a Greedo standalone film?
Very soon, I hope. I'm in negotiations with Fox at the moment and all the other Rhodians, but there's 224 of my children at home, 224 Rhodians who want to play in the Greedo movie, so it's going to be difficult to get them edged into that. But
we got Solo coming out soon.
Yes, I know, and I think Greedo is going to be in that. It's not me, but it's definitely going to be a Greedo in that.
I'm now here with Supergirl, and how are you enjoying Super Mega Fest?
Very much. It's one of my personal favorite Comic-Cons locally here, and it holds a special place in my heart, so I'm very much enjoying this.
What inspired you to dress like Supergirl?
I like the moral fabric that she embodies. It reminds me to be a better person. Whenever you put on this cape, you're reminded to help others and do good.
And did you meet anybody famous today?
I just got an autograph from Amanda Pays of the original Flash series, actually, yep.
Yeah, let's take a look at that.
Yeah, right there. That's John Wesley Shipp and Amanda Pays.
I'm now with Jerome Blake, and how are you enjoying the Super Mega Fest?
I mean, like I always do when I come to these things, I'm always enjoying it. In fact, I was just talking to a couple of girls a second ago, and I came out with the expression, if you don't enjoy it, don't turn up. So they came out, they had a great time. One of them, their first time ever at a con, and she's just grinning like a Cheshire cat, So that's the job.
You played so many different characters in Star Wars. What was one of your favorite characters that you played?
I have an affection for all of them because they've each inflicted different kinds of pain and torment on me, because they're hot and uncomfortable costumes. Because it was the first thing I ever did on Star Wars, and also because you can vaguely recognize my face and it's my voice, is Masamida, the Vice Chancellor of the Senate.
How was it filming in that film?
Terrifying to begin with, because as I said, the very first thing I did on Star Wars was that huge Senate scene, which on the script was over 6 minutes long. In the film, not so much, it got cut down. But nevertheless, my first day of filming was, here we go, 6 minutes of Senate stuff. So terrifying, but we got through it. Since I started working on Star Wars, it's now 20 years, and it's still exciting for me to talk about it.
What are you currently working on?
Don't have anything specific going on at the moment. There are 2 things being talked about, one of which is from the same universe, and therefore I'm not allowed to talk about it. I've been invited to go and do a theatre piece in Japan, where I will have to learn how to speak Shakespeare in Japanese. So there's a very big gauntlet being thrown down there. I'm very excited about that.
I'm now with Bill Diamond, and you brought so many amazing things to Super Mega Fest this weekend. Could you talk about a little bit what you brought?
Well, we brought a bunch of the characters that we have all at our studios in New York. We have our characters from our TV shows, and we always like putting them out, you know, for the fans to be able to see them. And then some tribute pieces that we have that we do to Jim Henson.
Who's that?
Gorgo. Gorgo is from Monster TV. He's usually out doing all kinds of things. He's in the Aurora Monsters, and he's pretty much the mascot character of all the monster characters that are from the classic movie Monsters. This is Garf and Snacks. They are from a new production called Land of the Moonshins. It's a series of characters that live on the moon, on the surface of the moon. And these creatures is actually based on a comic strip I did in the late 70s, early 80s. They were a live show, and it was a cable show episodes. So 35 years later, we decided to bring them back in a whole new show, and people can go online and actually watch the development of this show. And they can go on site and see Garf and Snacks and all the other creatures. And then at future show, in November, we're going to premiere the newer and other characters at every show. We bring out a new one that's part of the new series.
Fantastic. So it's this guy and the next guy.
And Snacks over there, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So the people will have fun watching them at BillDiamondProductions.com, and they can see all these guys come to life. And then this is Parks the Moose from Park Bakery. It's a series that we do. Beside New Jersey is where Parks is. And then, of course, Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors.
Wow. Talk about the creation of...
yeah, Audrey is
too.
from a 1984 version we did. And then this was for the 2000 version that was premiered at the Westchester Broadway Theater and then went on tour around the country on different venues that were doing Little Shop. And I'm the puppeteer for that and created this since '84.
So you created this in, not this one in particular. How old is this one?
This one is 2007.
2007, that's amazing shape being that old.
She still do on stage doing performances. We did a couple already for a couple of regional theaters. And then I'm still puppeteering it since '84, and I do it every year.
So it's just you, puppeteering?
It's just me. She starts off small and then grows to a bigger plant. And we've done countless performances of her around at regional and independent theaters.
Does it open out?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and then we bring her to the con so everybody can have fun sitting inside.
Okay, can I try it real quick?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's try it.
Well, let's get you over here. All right.
Okay.
Hop right in. Go ahead.
Hop right in.
Okay.
Oh boy, this is exciting. I'm going to be eaten by a giant plant.
Show's over.
I'm now with another pro wrestling legend here at Super Megafest, Nikolai Volkoff. How are you enjoying Super Megafest?
Very good. Nice people, nice place, beautiful audience. I enjoyed it.
What was one of your favorite feuds back in the old WWF?
One of the favorite and the best one was Bruno Sammartino. In 1974, we wrestled Madison Square Garden, 1 hour to a draw.
Recently, Bobby the Brain Heenan passed away. Did you have any good memories with Bobby?
Bobby, when I wrestled in Minneapolis territory at the time, Bobby Heenan was my manager. He was a good guy, good friend, and I'm sorry he passed away. You know, he left a beautiful wife and daughter behind him, and he was a good guy, very good guy.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan is right next to you. What's your relationship with Hacksaw?
Well, me and Jim Duggan, we used to fight each other. Then later we became a tag team, and we did good both times. And he was a good guy. I like him and respect him.
And what do you think of pro wrestling now and what WWE has become?
Vince McMahon is a very smart guy. He took business over his father, brought the business to the highest level ever. The highest level ever. You believe or not, but wrestling is one of the best entertainment or sports in the United States. They draw more people than any other sport and it's great. The people work very hard and they're doing a good job.
I'm now here with a group of cosplayers, 1 Marvel and 3 DC. I'm now with
Oswald Cobblepot.
and I'm not going to call you the Penguin because I know you don't like that. And also
Alfred Pennyworth.
Alfred, at my service. Thank you, Alfred. And you are?
Harley Quinn.
Are you good or you're evil or?
A little bit of both, sugar.
A little bit of both. I like that. And?
Logan, but my friends call me Wolverine.
Wouldn't your friends call you Logan? What inspired you to dress like Oswald Cobblepot?
To be honest, all my friends kept telling me I had the facial structure of Robin Lord Taylor, and all I needed was the black hair. So I just went with it one year to Boston Comic Con and met him, and even he was surprised how much I looked like him.
Alfred, how about you?
Well, I spend most of my time running around taking care of everybody else at the event, so it just kind of defaulted that way.
Why Harley Quinn today?
2 reasons. So Harley is very complex and creative, and I love that. And I would put my hair in pigtails, and people would randomly think I was Harley just walking down the street. So.
And you're wearing blue contacts.
Yes, I am. These are not my eyes.
Let's take a peek at your claws, Wolverine. Wow, okay, that's good. And Harley Quinn, you have the bat. Let's show that to the camera. Wow.
Made it myself.
Made it to yourself. What did you do?
I basically just got a wiffle bat, and then I taped it up, and yeah.
Did you have any problems bringing that in through security today?
No, surprisingly, no. But I do have a fake gun, too, that I didn't bother, because don't need that.
I'm here with legendary pro wrestler Tugboat.
Yes.
And how are you enjoying Super Mega Fest?
It's awesome. I'm having a great time here. We still got another day tomorrow coming up. Signed some figures, signed some 8x10s, did some photo ops, answered a lot of questions by fans, so it's kind of cool.
How is it to see yourself as an action figure?
It's awesome. It's not my first rodeo. I've had other ones in the past, but it's always cool. I'm on the new 218 game. Here's my mug shot. Okay, on the roster for WWE 2K18. It's great, man. It's a really cool deal. I got these here. These are the San Diego Comic-Con exclusives for 2016. With the whole bio of the Shockmaster incident, the notorious Shockmaster incident.
Doing the Shockmaster, that legendary night.
Bad night for me. It was like a case of beer equivalent kind of night. It was bad that night, but I've grown to embrace it and have fun with it.
Well, people must love it at conventions.
I have people who want to pay to wear that helmet. This is the original deal here. This is not an imitator, this is the originator, okay?
That's amazing. That's awesome. So let's just state that's the original helmet.
When I was at Mania this year, we were at WrestleCon, and actually the cameraman that was there that night in the truck that was filming the segment, because it was a live broadcast when we did that show in Daytona Beach, he's like, "You've got the helmet?" I says, "I had the botch, I have the helmet." That's all I could tell you about it. But it goes everywhere with me, and people love it. It's got that cult following. It's like the Rocky Horror of wrestling, so to speak. So it's kind of cool.
And you were also on the Edge and Christian show.
That's right, the remake, right? Yes. And just so you know, it doesn't smell like the Bastion Booger's ballsack, like they said on TV. It's actually fragrant.
I'm now with Black Canary and Darth Vader. You guys are from 2 different universes, but what brought you guys together here at Super Mega Fest?
Well, we've been dating for almost 2 years, so that did.
Oh, absolutely, and I'll take his word for it. I noticed I don't want Darth Vader to speak because his presence is good enough for me. What inspired you guys to dress up as these characters?
Well, I'm a big fan of Black Canary, so I definitely want to. I had actually done the TV version before, so I thought it'd be really cool to jump into the comic book version too. And for him, he's the biggest Star Wars fan you'll ever meet. So yeah.
And I have the height for it.
And he has the height for it. You just lost a little bit of that mystique talking, but it's pretty cool. I'm now with a pro wrestling legend, the one and only Hacksaw Jim Duggan. How are you enjoying Super Mega Fest?
Well, excuse me, David, but the first thing Hacksaw Jim Duggan has to do is give a big ho! Kind of fires me up, gets me going nowadays, gets the air in the lungs, gets the hair standing up, gets old Hacksaw ready to go.
It fires us all up, and it fires the Comic-Con up too. I guarantee everybody woke up after they heard that.
At least they're wondering what in the world's going on down here in this part of the Comic-Con. But I tell folks, if you have never been to a Comic-Con, you got to check it out. There's something for everybody. I mean, movie stars, comic book people, wrestlers. It's a fun time.
And you have some of your rivals here.
All right, yeah. Well, of course, nowadays, after this many years, we're survivors, so it's always good to see friends like Nikolai Volkoff and, of course, Demolition. Mick Foley, he's one of the younger guys. It's great to see everybody, kind of like an old home week for us.
I got to ask you about Roddy Piper and Bobby the Brain Heenan, and what memories you have of those two guys.
Well, Bobby, of course, was one of the best ever announcers, managers possible. And what I remember about Bobby, when I was the king of wrestling, I had the cape, the crown, the flag, the board, the thumb, the tongue, the hoe, and the crossed eyes. And Bobby Heenan kept going to Vince. Vince, Duggan needs an eagle. You should get Duggan an eagle. And I'm like, Bobby, shut up. He'll get me an eagle for a rib, I didn't want nothing to carry around. And, of course, Roddy Piper, God bless him, one of my best friends in my life. A great man, a great family man, good actor. I mean, a lot of folks don't realize what an actor he was. But what a good person he was. I mean, you talk to folks that met him at Comic-Cons, they always say how Roddy took an extra minute to say hello, spend a little time with his fans. He was a stand-up guy, a good family man, and somebody we'll all miss.
And what are you currently up to?
Do an awful lot of Comic-Cons. Last weekend I was at the Cleveland Comic-Con with my good friend Jake the Snake Roberts. Jake, who actually was a head usher at my wedding 30 years ago. So it's good to see Jake, and Jake doing well now. He cleaned up, he sobered. It's great to see him. So I do a lot of Comic-Cons, a few stand-up shows, and actually do a few indies once in a while.
All right, let's wrap this up, and let's end up with a...
Well, what do you want to do if we're going to end up, young guy? And if you're going to hoe, buddy, hoe like you mean it, young fella. Let's go, baby. Ho!
Well, that was the fall 2017 Super Megafest Comic-Con here in Marlborough, Massachusetts. And as you can tell, it was a great event with all the special guests, cosplayers, and so much more. I hope you come next year. My name is David Ciccariella. Thanks for watching.